Okay, I think doing that correctly this time. All right. I think we're streaming here. Still says it's preparing that live stream, so hopefully, let me just check that real quick, because that part's important today because we're having issues with the Zoom meeting that we're using. There's not enough room for everyone who's been wanting to join us here, and we thought we could easily change it, but we couldn't. We'll have to prepare a whole new webinar on Zoom and give you all a new link for the next 2 days here so we can make sure we're getting everybody in. So in the meantime, it's important that I've got the Zoom live streaming on YouTube. So let me just, it looks like it is, but it still says it's preparing the live stream, so I'm not sure. It's looking like it is to me. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go with that. And let's go ahead and hit record here. Is everyone else having, yeah, we had trouble not getting everybody in here. So hopefully that didn't deter people from trying to join us for the rest of our time together. I'm gonna go ahead and hit record here. All right, so hello and welcome to day 2 of our sort of healing masterclass series, how allergies and inflammation are affecting us and what we can do to, how we can really learn to understand the language of the body, what those allergies, what those inflammation really are and what they're telling us. Siri just decided to talk to me for some reason. I was not talking to her. Okay. So we are, give me just a second. This has got me just a little tiny bit flustered, but I'm going to regain myself. Technical issues. All right. Okay. Yeah. So today we're going to continue our journey. What are your allergies and inflammation and pain trying to tell you? That's more on point. And decode potent healing messages hidden in your body and access your true state of radiant health and happiness. We had some really great audience participation yesterday for our day 1. So thank you for all of you, all that you've shared in the comments, all of the questions that you've had. You know, I always welcome questions. They help us go deeper into information that everyone really is needing. So feel free to ask those questions and I'll get to those as I can, as time permits, each of our days here together. But we had, we've had a really big response to that question of what drew you to this healing series. It became so clear so quickly that you're here to learn about, you're here to receive healing for yourself, to experience the tools of this modality, but you're here because you have challenges. There's things that are happening with you, with your own health, your own body, that you are wanting, not just to understand, but, you're seeking answers, ways to, release those symptoms, release those conditions, and really reclaim your health. So this is something that I take very seriously. And it's my deepest wish and intention to support you as best I can on your journey of discovery, right? Just that journey to discover answers that you're needing and to heal. So it's an absolute honor always to connect with you, no matter where you are on your journey. I also want to just say it takes courage to be on this journey. It takes courage to show up for ourselves, to take actions, to keep ourselves on our path, right? Or to bring us back when we veer off. So this is something that I recognize in each of you here. Whether you are able to recognize it for yourself, you are brave, you are courageous, even if you don't feel that way all the time. I just want to take a moment to remind you that you are. It takes a lot to show up for yourself, to connect with your body, to learn its language, to learn how to listen to your body, and to do, all the different things that are involved in really supporting and healing our body in all the different ways that it requires. And ultimately, what's showing up in our body can be a gift, right? It's giving us messages that lead us to healing core wounds. Those can be hard to face, right? And that's another reason I know that you're courageous, right? So it's so easy to just shut our eyes and, try to hide our head under a pillow and not look at what's not working, right? To look at our wounds that hold grief, that hold anger, that hold confusion. It's hard, that hold resentment or shame. It's a difficult thing. And when we show up for ourselves, magic truly does happen. And as I was preparing this healing series, in meditation, I was shown to share the imagery of the body as a compass. And the heart as that figurative lighthouse, right? Shining out ahead of you in the darkness to light your path. It lights a path to self-awareness, to those truths, those higher perspectives about who we are and the incredible potential that we each hold. It's directly connected to, like me, it's connected to your own healing gifts and abilities, helping you to unlock them. It's a path to greater self, not just self-awareness and self-discovery, but what that ultimately leads to, which is self-love and sacred power, if we allow it. And your body, as that figurative compass, shows you where you're out of alignment with that path that your heart is lighting for you. Right? It isn't your fault. There's no one to blame. It's what we chose before we were born to lead us here, where we need to go to bring us into that next level of expansion and spiritual evolution, right? To make us better people, right? To acquire virtues, expand in consciousness, really moving us into realizing our potential, right? This is why it's so important to connect to your heart, to be able to and stay grounded and really connected to your higher guidance systems, which the effective path to grounding, to connecting to our higher guidance systems is through the heart. That heart that keeps your lighthouse lit and shining brightly so you can stay on course. For those of you here, some of you I know from the messages that you've been sharing with me have been feeling discouraged, have been even feeling helpless or hopeless as you've, really struggled to heal your body. And also not just your body, right? But to discover, to find the healing that you're needing on all levels of your being, right? Emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical. And we talked about how all of those other levels, emotional, spiritual, mental, how those show up in your body physically. And we're going to talk more about that today when we take a closer look at inflammation. But I can promise you that, I've been on this journey with you. I had to go through and experience a lot of difficult things, right? At times, I felt like they could break me, that I wouldn't be able to get through them. When you were in those times of life, experiencing so many things that aren't working, right? Families, relationships, our health, maybe it's feeling or, being in lack or struggling just to get by or make it another day. And I can tell you that all of that shows up in your body. It certainly did in mine. And it was a journey to get me, to this place right here and right now to be in front of you today, right? Sharing this work that has been first and foremost the answer to my own prayers, right? To my an answer to my needs, to what I was seeking, to support my body, right? It really brought to me what I needed to transform the different health issues that I was struggling with that were, making it really difficult for me to show up the way I wanted to in my life, not just for myself, but for my children, other family members, and really ultimately to get myself into a place where I can do what I'm doing here today and, bringing this to you, right? And other people all around the world. These are tools that I literally use every day in some way for something, right? To help myself navigate life's stuff, right? Some of the tough energies that we are in our environment, our world, climate, so to speak, to keep my energy flowing, to support my immune system, and to release and heal symptoms that were popping up in my body that were letting me know, hey, you've got something to look at. Hey, there's something here that needs healing, that needs your attention. And it's brought me to a place where, I can finally say I'm in a good place, right? I have healthy relationships, supportive relationships. I don't spend ridiculous amounts of time. I say that with total compassion, but a lot of time stuck in stressful mind thoughts and loops or challenging emotional states. It doesn't mean I don't go there from time to time, but I don't stay there long. I have tools that help me to move through and shift out of those painful states. And also, I don't go into those states nearly as often or as deep as I used to, before I really got to kind of excavate my energy systems and clear so much out that was causing me a lot of problems. So today I'm happy to say that my life is free of the drama and chaos that were just a normal part of my life. I didn't even really realize that I was in it, right? Because I grew up that way, It's like when you don't know what you don't know, right? What's normal to you is what your experience has always been. So, what I find for myself today that I'm been working on it for a bit of time now, still working on it, is finding a little bit more balance between maybe my work life and some of the other parts of my life that are also important. But it's tough to do when you have a big mission, right? This work has just kind of taken over. I can't just sit still and be quiet. My soul doesn't let me do that. So that's still a little bit of a work in progress. But so much has changed. It's like not even the same life, not even the same person, right? That I was even 5 years ago, but especially 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It's like pretty wild. So I had a lot to change. I had a lot to overcome. And, to be able to be doing this today, to be able to live the life that I'm living now. And I know that when you are in it, like when you're in sort of the mud or the muck or the chaos, what's really hard, it can be impossible to imagine that you're going to be okay, right? That things are going to turn out. But I can tell you that when you say yes to you and make choices and decisions that align with you, like your true self, that allow you to be who you are and do the things in your life that make you happy, you don't just get through, you break through. You are literally breaking your code, becoming so much more than the limitations of your programming. And life gets better. Sometimes miraculously better, and sometimes really, really quickly. But it can be hard to imagine, again, like when you're in it. And it can be so hard to make a different choice than the choices we've been making, to take new action on something that our heart or soul might be just kind of screaming at us, right? Just trying to get our attention. That shows up in the body, right? But sometimes those choices that will literally change the whole trajectory of our life, launching us into a place or a space where our body heals, where we begin to experience more joy, more happiness, more authentic, loving connections. Sometimes those choices seem so hard, overwhelming, and maybe even wrong. If you can relate to that, if you're like me, some of the choices I had to make to change my life felt wrong, right? Because they didn't match my family's expectations, the religion I was raised in, etc., the community, and all of that. So I've been there. And when you break through to the other side, it is happy dances. It is incredible freedom, incredible joy. And then if you're like me, it's like, I can't believe that took me so long. Yes, it was hard, but it was immediately rewarding. So there is a way that leads to freedom. There's a way that leads to reclaiming our health for well-being on all levels, to truly accessing our true state of health and happiness. Yes, it's a journey, no doubt about that. It takes practice, it takes compassion, or practice too, but patience. It takes compassion for yourself, right? As we don't generally, make those incredible leaps overnight. Sometimes we do. But we can do this in an accelerated way when we have the tools to help ourselves to accomplish that. We are on a spiritual pilgrimage, right, of sorts, right? You, me, all of us here, we're forging paths for ourselves and also for others to follow. And we need extra support. So I'm so happy to be here to be able to share some seriously powerful healing tools that bring big healing, transformation, changes. And I'm going to just talk about just a little quick recap of what we talked about yesterday as we go deeper into what I have in store to share for you today. So yesterday, we talked about allergies, right? What they are from that energetic perspective and how they are created. Talked about how we are multidimensional, multifaceted, complex beings. And we thus are the allergies we experience, the inflammatory patterns, the diseases that we experience are also multidimensional, multifaceted, and complex. And to release them, we have to have healing tools and methods that are multidimensional, multifaceted, that are going to address these complexities. And that's what we're doing here with energetic allergy healing. So we got to go pretty deep into all of that. So if you missed that, I highly recommend that you go back and view that replay. Plus there was really beneficial healing there for you as well to make sure you take advantage of. We worked on clearing, kind of expanding on healing environmental allergies, expanding from those gifts that you received in your email when you registered for these classes. And we're going to do that again today with a bit of the focus of the healing going deeper, still kind of working in that environmental agent sort of category for allergies. And we're going to begin to address other pathogens that create allergies, that create inflammation and disease, pain in the body, like bacteria and viruses. And we're even going to do some additional work with molds and fungus as well, even though there's healing for that in one of those audio gifts. For some of us with really chronic, long-standing mold allergies, we can need some additional allergy work. And oftentimes it's clearing allergies to molds and fungus kind of in combination with some other substances, some other things, including environmental agents. It can be some additional bacteria or viruses like we're going to work with today that can sort of hold that key to unlocking those more kind of deeply rooted and embedded allergies, or more complex allergies. That's really what they are. So we're going to talk about how this modality works with different types of pathogens, since we're going to be exploring that in our healing together here in day 2. We're going to be including Epstein Barr Virus, which is part of the herpes family. And it's a big, big piece of chronic fatigue and chronic illness and pain in the body across the globe. So it's a big one to work with, and it's a big part of my story. Starting at age 15, I got to talk about that a little bit yesterday as well, and that caused me a lot of problems for a very long time. And I'm happy to say that with these tools, that's not something that is part of my experience anymore. So, and Epstein Barr, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but I haven't found a way to really get that out of the body, so to speak, yet, but we can deactivate it. So if you've ever had blood work done and been told that you have Epstein Barr virus, they're finding that in your blood, then you probably know that it shows as active or inactive. Okay, so as we experience stress, we experience overwhelm, and we've have Epstein Barr in the body, that can be an activator of that virus. So even for me today, if I feel some of those old familiar kind of signs or symptoms, that fatigue, maybe swollen glands a little bit, or even if I get the slightest little sign of like, oh, I kind of feel like that's kind of creeping in here and I might need a little additional support, I can just run these tools, just do allergy healing for Epstein Barr virus, see if there's anything else I'm needing support with. It's kind of compromising my immune system a little bit, and I'm able to switch out of that really quickly. So we're going to work with that today. We're going to work with some of the other members of the herpes family as well, with a few other viruses and bacteria. We'll talk more about that when we get to that part of our call today. And of course, we're going to talk more about the body, decoding its language, right? By expanding on the different types of energies and energy patterns that create symptoms in the body, that let us know when we have something that needs to be healed, that we are out of alignment somewhere within our relationship with something or some things in our outer or our inner environment. And what it's really showing us, kind of at the core of all of that, is that we're really out of alignment somewhere within our relationship with ourselves. So I want to really move into inflammation and just touching more in on that here. How does all of this tie in with inflammation? Well, what is inflammation? So inflammation is literally resistance manifested in the physical body. Inflammation is resistance manifest in the physical body. Inflammation has density, right? It inhibits the flow of energy in our body. Remember that chi or that life force energy we talked about yesterday? All the energy patterns that create resistance, that create allergies, belief systems, emotions, trauma, hooks, cords, attachments, oaths, vows, and contracts, entity type energy patterns. All of these things exist first in our energy, right? Our energy bodies, our chakras, our subtle bodies, our energetic field. That's where they exist first. And as those energies sort of step down or slow down in vibration to form matter in the physical, it's literally manifests as inflammation in the body. When that resistance energy gains enough complexity, it's manifesting in the body as inflammation. And from that inflammation comes all of the pain, the physical, the dysfunction and disease that we experience in the body. It all starts with allergies. So heal the allergies, those packages of resistance, those that are unseen, right? We can't see them with our eyes, and the body responds. And the inflammation begins to dissolve and clear. Energy begins to be in flow again, and the body heals. It begins to recover itself, to renew and repair itself and function better and better and better over time. So just think about it. Life is movement. Life is flow. Energy is vibration. It's frequency. It's in constant motion. Our universe is in constant motion. We are energy. Our bodies are energy. To be healthy, to feel good, the energy in our body needs to be in that state of flow. Our nerve impulses are in constant motion. Our blood, our lymph, constant motion. Our digestive system, glands, hormones, all those neurotransmitters, everything, constant movement and flow. So when you think about flow, you can think of water, our rivers, right? Moving, ever changing. When you think of inflammation, you can think of sludge, maybe mud. So energy can still flow through it, but it takes a whole lot longer. So inflammation blocks that chi energy, that vital life force energy in the body. So going to kind of bring this back to what's in those packages of resistance that's creating those allergies, which is becoming inflammation in the body or becomes inflammation in the body. In the sort of energy healing world, we hear that word blocks, right? That term, blocks. You have problems, you have blocks, right? Got to clear the blocks. Something isn't working in your life, you've got blocks, right? Myself included, I've been talking about blocks for, 30 something years now. But what I didn't understand until really the last 8 or 9 years or so is that these blocks, those are those packages of resistance that manifest as inflammation in your body, blocking and slowing down that flow of chi, that life force energy, that creator, source, love, light, that highest compassion frequency. And then, aha, right? It all comes together. It makes sense. And it's all encompassed in the healing that energetic allergy healing holds and delivers. So when we don't feel good, we have pain, we have disease, we have allergies. They are so much more than what we're used to thinking of or have been taught about them. When our immune system is compromised, when we're tired all the time, we experience low energy, that constant state of fatigue, we have allergies straight up. So let's look at one of the energy patterns that makes up those packages of resistance that we have. And it's the first type of energy pattern that I learned to really look at and understand, and its role of creating pain in the body. And that's our belief systems, our beliefs. Specifically, the ones that cause problems, right? The ones that are limiting, low frequency, or what we refer to as negative. We can take a look at a few beliefs that are so common and we can all relate to because we've mostly all felt it, believed it, or been affected by it at some level, because the two or three here that I'm going to talk about are part of humanity kind of as a whole, our core wounds. I am unlovable. I am unworthy. I'm not enough. Often we have all of these running all at the same time as a part of who we are. We come into the world with these. If our mother's holding those, we're holding those, generations of time, they come through and they're part of us right from the start. So remember that little 5-year-old child sitting at the dinner table with their parents fighting, and that child becomes overwhelmed, internalizing all that they do not have the ability to understand or process at that age. Right? Beliefs are created in those moments. As we feel things like, if they just loved me enough, they wouldn't fight. If I was enough, this just wouldn't be happening. As children, we see, well, our parents live together, they say they love each other. And now we have all kinds of new beliefs about love. They're being created in those moments. Now we may associate love as also looking like or feeling like anger or fear or pain. And in these moments, we're creating blocks, there's that word, resistance to love itself, love which heals all things. It's the energy that connects all of life. So what are the implications, of this? How does this show up in your body? Well, we've talked about how an allergy is resistance. And if we're in resistance to something, right, we're going to block it. We're going to reject it. We're going to push it away. So now we have all of these misconstrued beliefs and understandings and perspectives of love can actually be creating an allergy to love, the energy of love, that frequency, that experience in these moments. And now we're going to have trouble with that emotion, with that frequency, with accepting it, with holding it, with giving it to ourselves. It's easier for us to give it to others. The hardest thing is to learn to give it to ourselves. So yesterday, when we did the allergy healing, I was guided to include the emotion, love, and joy. Doing this work, allergy clearing for emotions, even positive emotions, can create really big shifts for people. So, because as we do that, allergies to emotions are tricky. They're causing problems, but allergy to a positive emotion, to me, is a double trouble. Okay, because when we're allergic to something, and we're talking about emotions here, if we're allergic to a negative emotion, or what we consider a negative emotion, shame, guilt, fear, anger, right? And we're in that energy, we're in that experience of those emotions, it's creating inflammation somewhere in our body. So now, if we're allergic to a positive emotion, which we so often are. And it can stem from experiences just like this, that child at the dinner table, parents are fighting, and now we have new ways of looking at love, a different lens that we're looking through that is not true. Okay, so that when we become allergic to that positive emotion, when we're in that experience, feeling love, it's creating also inflammation somewhere in our body. Plus, we have that additional kind of compounded problem of also pushing that away, right? Pushing that energy away because we're allergic to it, which means our body is viewing it as a threat. Beliefs, I am unworthy, I am unlovable, I'm not enough. These beliefs mess with the magnetics of our internal compass, right? They throw that compass off, and that throws off our body. Makes our compass, our body go wonky, right? So that we're not facing that true north, so that we're not in alignment with our true self, which really is love, right? Each of us with love as our divine birthright. It's who we are. But these beliefs are untruths, right? They're not true. They're in direct opposition to the truth. And they are part of those packages of resistance that are allergies and become inflammation in the body. Right? So when we're in resistance, what are we doing again? I'm going to talk about this a lot. We're rejecting, hiding from, or running away from something, pushing something away. So if we're running programming like that, we're going to be open and receptive to love, which is the ultimate healer, the very energy, that's that vital life force energy. Are we going to take the necessary steps and actions to heal and support ourselves, our body, if we believe that we are unworthy or not good enough? Right? Are we open to give love to others freely? And most importantly, for our own healing, are we able to give it to ourselves? So then we can take it from there and we can go another step deeper. What other emotions could be around that, right? Besides unworthiness, that's part of our story. Could be guilt, could be shame, could be regret, remorse, fear, resentment, anger, insecurity, low self-worth, right? Just to name a few that are commonly connected to the belief, I am unworthy, and also I am unlovable, or I'm not enough, really any of those. There can also be other energy patterns that are connected here. There could be hooks, cords, and attachments that are part of that are connected to those beliefs and emotions, keeping us stuck in those patterns. Often to a parent who you took on those beliefs about love in the first place. Right? The beliefs that made you believe or feel that love is conditional, that you have to earn love, or that you're unworthy of unconditional love. Maybe you took it on in different ways in early childhood. We could have created, they could have been created mostly from in ways that we're mostly unconscious of, from energetic oaths, vows, or contracts that we create in somewhere along the line. Usually, again, it's unconscious, and we create them originally to keep us safe. They could be along the lines of a vow or a contract never to let someone into your heart again, right? Because you'll get hurt. Other beliefs become adopted over time in our experiences that are painful in our interactions with others and the love that we have for others. Love is pain. Love is struggle. Love is hard. Love is disappointing, and so on. Maybe it's not even real. And our package of resistance that's throwing off that compass, your body grows. It becomes more and even more complex. It's creating allergies in your body, manifesting as inflammation in your body. It's compromising immune health and the health of other systems of your body as well, kind of depending on where we're storing all of these different types of energy patterns. Maybe you already understand all of that. But what you may not have guessed or thought of before is that these very same patterns, these very same beliefs, emotions, vows, contracts, hooks, cords, can be creating an allergy to dairy, to milk. Milk is the very first food that we're given as children, as babies. It's necessary for us to live and to thrive. When we come out of the womb, we're either immediately, put to the mother's breast to nurse, or we're fed milk in a bottle, formula, whatever. But what does it represent energetically? Well, it represents love in a physical form. It's the first we are exposed to. It is nourishment that is equated to the energy of love. Nourishment is a loving act. Whether we're being nourished by someone else or nourishing ourselves, it is an act of love. So this early representation of these first acts of love that we experience when we're out of the womb, that gets connected to love. If we picked up programming in the womb or brought programming forward from past incarnations, that we are unlovable or unworthy of love, this can all tie in quite directly to what becomes a creation of an allergy to milk and dairy products. And again, our body shows us where these energies are that are throwing us out of alignment, that are making it hard for us to find our way through. So the more we work on healing, clearing beliefs, programming, like these out, right? Clearing them out, along with those accompanying emotions, especially the ones that are lowest on that vibrational emotion scale, like shame and guilt, along with other patterns that are commonly connected to these belief systems and emotions, like trauma, that are really anchoring these beliefs in, forming this package of resistance, which again manifests as allergies, inflammation, and eventually disease, express as disease in the body. The more we clear these, the more we are open to love, to healing, to giving ourselves the love and healing that we need to thrive. And ultimately, this is how we heal others, including our planet and our collective of humanity here. So this is a great place to tie in another piece of the inflammation, pain, and disease story. And that's pathogens. Viruses, bacteria, fungus, yeast, even parasites. It didn't take long working to improve my own health and working with others to discover that pathogens are a big part of what's causing inflammation, pain, and disease in the body. And I really want to, touch in here on pathogens and how they connect here and how we work with them or address them with these tools. I began to really connect the dots when I learned that viruses, for instance, vibrate at the frequency of unworthiness. And it ties right in here to some of our core wounds and core programming. That pathogenic bacteria vibrate at the frequency of guilt. That fungus and yeast like Candida vibrate at the frequency of resentment. And then understanding or knowing that like attracts like, right? The more unworthiness, guilt, resentment, shame that we hold, the greater that magnetic force attracting pathogens is. And also that, the stronger that magnetic is, that creates that story of not just attracting them, but now also storing them in our body. So through my years of working on myself, family, expanding out to clients, I came to learn that pathogen patterns are a huge piece of the puzzle. when we're looking to resolve symptoms and pain in the body. It's involved with so many different inflammatory issues, from back pain, believe it or not, to asthma, skin problems of all kinds, digestive problems, thyroid dysfunction, autoimmune disease, of course, with fatigue, depression, and more complex diseases like cancer. Pathogens have been so, what looks to me when I kind of look at the energy of it is activated for people this past couple of years for many reasons that are all interconnected. When I say couple of years, it's more few years now. And they're ultimately a part of us all stepping into that next level of consciousness and sovereignty. The more allergy healing that I did for pathogens, the more healing people began to experience. I began to pretty quickly learn that this modality was doing so much more than just clearing an allergy. Pain was healing. Deficiencies for people were correcting. Hormone levels were correcting. Hormone production was improving. Unhealthy cravings were calming down and even disappearing. Infections were healing more quickly. People also found themselves not getting sick as often. There are so many amazing stories that I would love to share with you. And we'll see if we can get to some of those here in the next day or two together. But what happened, just kind of moving forward here, is pretty soon clients were coming to me and saying, when are you going to teach this? When are you going to teach this modality? Right? We want these tools. And it took me a while to develop that and make that happen. But now that's one of my most favorite things to do, as it's the best way that I can empower others, right? And help way more people than I possibly could on my own. So I get really excited to share this time with you, to talk about these tools, to talk about this work, to talk about the body, its messages, helping people to understand what they mean. And most importantly, understanding that we're not powerless, that there are tools, we do have help, that we can change this story and move out of the problems that we've been having, even chronic ones. It might just take a little longer to work on those. So when we do allergy healing for pathogens, let's talk about a few of the things that's happening here. It's resolving the glue or that magnetic that attracts them to us, because when we do allergy healing, it's clearing the emotions, the trauma, programming, right? All those different energy patterns that create the allergy. So when we do allergy healing for pathogens, we're resolving those patterns that really act as that magnetic force, attracting them to us. And that's that piece of resistance we've been talking about. The unworthiness, the guilt, the shame, the resentment patterns, the programming that act as anchors for these patterns in our systems, our energy systems. It's bringing you into harmony with the pathogens that is the key to providing release, kind of unlocking us from that sort of what binds us or binds those pathogens to us, freeing us from those pathogen patterns. So it calms down inflammation, it calms down our immune system so that it can come out of that draining kind of hyperdrive mode. It deactivates viruses like Epstein Barr Virus and other members of the herpes family. It helps us to release the pathogens that can be released from the body, helps us to do that more efficiently, more effectively. It stabilizes and harmonizes the microbiomes in our body. It provides protection and immunity, as well as prevention moving forward. So a lot of really cool things are happening when we're working with these tools and we're working with pathogens. And there is kind of well, not kind of, there is a compounded problem that also happens remember when I talked about how we have a little bit of a double trouble problem when we're allergic to a positive emotion? Well, we can become allergic to pathogens. So it's one thing, and it's on one level causing us physical issues in the body when we are, storing these pathogenic organisms in our body. But it's a compounded problem when we become allergic to those pathogens, which we do, and it happens all the time. We become allergic to Epstein Barr virus. We become allergic to Streptococcus bacteria. We become allergic to Candida. We can even become allergic to the byproducts or waste products of these organisms in the body. And now we have an increase of inflammation in the body. So when we're clearing allergies for pathogens, it's doing a lot of different things to help us resolve the pain that they create in the body. Now, I wanted to share a little bit here about, and we're getting close to doing the healing work that we're going to do together today. But I want to kind of bring together what we've talked about and share a little bit more about my history as well with this work that I'm doing today. So our body's responses, allergies, inflammation, pain, and disease, are your body's way of communicating with you. They're the signals to show you where those wounds are, right? Where the resistance, past trauma, limiting beliefs are blocking that vital life force energy, that chi energy within you. And by learning to decode these messages, you begin to see symptoms not as nuisances, but actually as guides. They help you recognize areas within you that need healing for your own benefit, right? For your evolution. And in this masterclass here, I'm sharing with you a unique way of tuning into the body to truly understand the messages right behind allergies, inflammation, and other symptoms that we experience. I teach my students to listen to the body, not just surface symptoms, but the deeper signals that reveal underlying allergies or resistance patterns. You can also look at those patterns, those blocks, that they as blocking an energetic circuit. Right? They carry the unresolved emotions, beliefs, the traumas that manifest as pain and illness. But by tuning into these patterns, we can start to decode the body's messages and gain a clear view of what's really going on beneath the surface. And then the allergy healing tools kind of step in and target and clear the specific energy patterns that make up each package of resistance, removing those blockages that restrict that natural flow of life force in the body. And this process goes beyond symptom relief. It opens pathways for healing on all levels. I like to think of myself as an energy coder, a kind of programmer who intuitively works with the body's energetic blueprint. I came into this life with an innate understanding of how our belief systems and past experiences create pain and disease in the body. From a really young age, I wasn't even 20. I was able to tune into my own energy and the energy of others to identify belief systems. That's where it started for me, to clear these blocks that were showing up as pain in the body. Little did I know then that this intuitive ability was the beginning of what's become the body of work that I do today. Energetic allergy healing is a comprehensive system that helps people access their inner power, releasing the resistance that holds them back from living a healthy, joy-filled life. So it started again for me with belief systems. And then, over the years, I learned the other sort of pieces that I needed. The implications of our emotions and stored trauma, and how those also are part of what's manifesting as pain and disease in the body, and what shapes our relationships and our reality. Over time, I experienced some of those other energy patterns and discovered their implications that we've barely but kind of mentioned here, like oaths, vows, and contracts, attachments, hooks, cords, entities, implants. And that's still just to name a few, because it's really a lot. And I began to work with these to heal myself, really peeling back the layers of resistance to reach deeper healing. Right. And then that final breakthrough came when I connected the dots on allergies. Allergies were like the missing piece of the health puzzle. And I woke up one morning after I'd been on this path of discovery with allergies, what they mean and how it's working. And I haven't really got to mention this here yet, so I'll touch on it briefly. But how that piece happened is someone had recommended an NAET practitioner to me because I was dealing with milk and dairy allergies. That's me from the time I was born, mold allergies, dust allergies. And someone had said that they'd had some good results and been able to clear some allergies to some different foods that they could eat now. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to go check that out. And so I did that. And the practitioner that I was seeing really became a friend of mine, really. And he began to see that with me, I would come to the office and I would oftentimes know ahead of time what was going to be a priority allergy for me that needed to be cleared, because I already understood how to tune into my body and the energy of my body. And I quickly was understanding, going to these NAET sessions, that as these different allergies would get identified to get cleared for me, that how those were connected directly to each of those symptoms, what I was feeling in my body. Over time, I began to also realize how they affected me, or shifted my emotional states and mental states. I began connecting a lot of dots. So what happened, long story short, that practitioner said, you know what, you can do this for yourself at home. And he gave me some allergy kits to work with, just on documents, a few printed sheets. There was about 9 pages of NAET allergy kits that he gave to me to work with, and basically said, you got this. You go home and you work with this and see what happens, for yourself. And he was like, and do it for your kids and do it for your family. So I did. I started working with those and kind of discovering different things about that that I needed and that would come up. And the final breakthrough, as that final kind of all those pieces, all these dots connecting through time, the belief systems, the emotions, the trauma, all these other energy patterns, and then understanding this piece that we can be allergic to all these little different things that are, parts of our body, emotions, substances in our environment, and that list of things was really kind of endless. There's limitless. There's, if you think of all the energies that make up our universe, pretty wild. And I woke up one morning with literally every cell in my body just buzzing with excitement. And I felt this huge, almost like an urgency. I sat down at my desk, piece of paper, pen in hand, and just started writing. And in a channeled flow, I wrote down a set of instructions, which really were a language for clearing allergies at an energetic level. I felt something massive unfolding that I couldn't yet see the full scope of what I was actually creating in those moments. When I started working with these allergy tools, again, I just had a few sets of these allergies to work with. I've since then expanded those allergy kits, those original NAET kits that were given to me. I've expanded those through exhaustive research and healing experiences to over 77 pages. We have over, there's another update coming in for those kits. So we have over probably 9,000 different allergies that we can work with as practitioners, all organized into beautiful, easy to use a beautiful, easy to use manual that contains comprehensive groups of nutrients, pathogens, parts of the body, foods, environmental agents, drugs, medications, vaccines, anesthesia, antibiotics, medicinal herbs, and emotions. And I want to share a story that one of my very first experiences when I started using that channeled allergy healing tool, that set of instructions to clear an allergy. And I had those 9 or so pages of NAT allergy kits to work with to identify allergies. My first client that I ever had, actually, I should say she was a volunteer because I wasn't working officially in a practice. So she was really more like a volunteer. Someone who wasn't myself, wasn't one of my children. She was actually my dental hygienist. And she had been suffering from thyroid disease, severe allergies, and digestive issues for decades. And after our healing sessions that we did together, she actually came to my house. We sat down together, and I started, tuning into her energy, tuning into her symptoms, identifying allergens that needed to get cleared. And she began to notice some pretty phenomenal things. She was soon able to incorporate foods that she'd had to avoid for years. Her digestion improved, and her doctor actually had to lower her thyroid medication that she'd been on for decades, multiple times. So witnessing her transformation was when I truly began to understand the magnitude of the allergy healing tool that I'd created. And I knew it was something I would be using to help people. I didn't know I'd be teaching this modality today like I do, but it didn't, again, take long before the clients that I was working with to start saying, I need these tools. When are you going to teach this? So what makes this allergy healing modality unique and really gets the results it does is the system of allergy kits that help us to identify the many different relationships that we have with substances, energies, right, in our inner and outer environment that are holding resistance or disharmony. And the tool that I created to be able to quickly clear those effectively, clearing the various energy patterns that are creating that resistance simultaneously. And that's where the magic is. Being able to clear all of those different patterns all at one time in an instant. This is what allows people to experience the profound shifts so quickly, and often what seems like a miracle. That's actually what inspired me to create my very first program, a group program. It was a 12-week program where I would bring people through allergy clearing for the different groups of allergens over 12 weeks time that I had in my allergy kits. And it was called the Energetic Allergy Healing Miracle Healing Program. And that's what my Facebook group is called, and it still carries that same name, Miracle Healing. So it's really, this journey has been incredible, absolutely incredible, to be able to bring healing to people that can quickly help us to break free from physical, emotional, mental, energetic blocks, right, that are causing pain, and to reconnect with our true potential, right, achieving healing that was beyond reach at one time. So I want to, from here, do some more healing for you guys. So let me know if you have any questions too, please, about anything that I'm sharing here. Go ahead and put those in the chat box, and I will get to those when we're done with the healing here. And I also always invite sharing, right? I've been hearing from so many of you. Emails are already coming in, messages coming in about what is changing, what is shifting, different things that you're experiencing as we move through these master classes, as you all are working with the different healings that are part of this whole event, including those first 2 that were gifts that came in your email when you registered to join me for this event. And we're not even done yet. So I'm really excited to keep this going for you, allowing you to experience more of this work and to, have the opportunity to support all of you, right, on whatever level that you're needing it, that you're here to receive. So let's take another look at where we're going today with that healing. I touched on it already. I want to talk about that a little bit more, and then we'll go ahead and do that together. So let's see, where did that go? I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. Okay, so we're going to revisit mold, fungus, mycotoxins. Again, you have that in that healing tool, in that healing audio that was emailed out to you. Kind of wrapped up in a healing tool that I call Healing Your Relationship with Nature 2, part of my a healing series to address some of the most common allergies to our natural world that are more seasonal. So that one is addressing different types of allergies that people experience in the fall and winter seasons. I go into that a little bit in that audio. And what we're going to do today is expand on that and help those of you where that's a deeper or more complex allergy, molds, fungus, mycotoxins. And we're going to do that by doing additional healing and bringing into the healing other pathogens that can be connected to our mold and fungus mycotoxins issues, and possibly are connected in the way that they're simply compromising our immune health, our immune system's ability to handle all of the different pathogenic microorganisms that are in our body and that are in our environment. And that is Epstein Barr virus. We're going to work directly with that today. We're going to work with the whole herpes family, as they often go together. If we have trouble with one, chances are good our bodies, kind of struggling with some of the others that are part of that family as well. So that's varicella zoster, cytomegalovirus. And I've seen a rise of people needing extra support with cytomegalovirus these past few years, really since COVID. So these and Epstein-Barr too really stirred up, really activated for people when COVID came on the scene. So, and we're still working to resolve these different viruses today in the body. We're still dealing with that on some level, so many of us, even if we don't have, actual COVID symptoms. It's part of, I see it over and over again. It's coming up for people still as part of their respiratory issues, part of, immune system issues, autoimmune disease, and all food allergies and all kinds of things that really got kind of crazy for people through the pandemic. So we're working with those. We still need the support. I feel like that just continues. That need is not subsiding. We need the tools to support our immune systems with these viruses. So we're going to, that said, also include some support for COVID, for not just SARS-CoV-2, the different variants, but also for the coronavirus family. Because another thing that I've seen a lot of over the past few years is that COVID has kind of activated or created issue for people with other coronaviruses. There's MERS and SARS that were circling the globe here in early 2000s, and then like 2012 or 2011, something like that as well. And those have been an issue for people too. So we're going to be working with those today. We're also going to be working with a handful of bacteria, which includes the Tuberculinum kind of family, Pneumococcinum, a few of the different species there. of bacteria. Klebsiella is another one that I've seen is really kind of interwoven in our inflammation problems that we're having. So we're going to work with that. Not only that, but these are also commonly part of what's going on that's part of our cold and flu season, which for us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're kind of moving into that. It's kind of tied in with those winter and fall months as well, where we have the more dark, more cold and dampness and all of that, which is kind of that breeding ground for molds and fungus and all of that. So what we're doing today, again, is bringing in high-level support for your immune system, continuing to bring healing to the respiratory system, and continuing to work on harder to resolve mold allergies, continuing to resolve more complex environmental allergies for people as well. So we're working with those. And then I'm going to run a couple of additional healing tools that I've created that all have allergy healing at their core. And then they're also layered with additional belief work, downloads, spiritual technologies that I work with to remove different types of energy patterns in the body. And they are really bring in a high level of support, because I want to bring that to you while I have you in front of me here in this series and support you during these seasons that we're in, and in general, wherever you are in the world, because they're going to bring you benefits. So we're going to do that today. And I think that's all I really want to take the time to share, because I want to get this healing in for you. And I want to make sure we have time for questions. I want to look at your questions and answer those. The tools you're going to hear me bringing forward today, we're going to do allergy healing, like straight up allergy healing first, and then some additional support as well, with a healing tool that I created that's called Breathe Easy, and another one that's called the Immune Support RX Healing. Okay, those are the two main ones that we're going to work with. And they're going to, again, just bring in additional layers of healing and support with the pathogens that we're working on and the systems of the body that we're focused on as well. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do our healing. Jump into that here now. So if you're not in a good place to relax and have some quiet here for maybe the next 10, 15 minutes, you might want to do that now, because it's time for our healing to begin. All right. And here we go. So this is our allergy healing work for day 2 of our masterclass series. So I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Just drop down into your heart, placing your focus, your awareness on your heart. And begin to breathe longer, deeper breaths. Finding a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale if you can. And I invite you to imagine that you're breathing as if you're breathing in and out of your heart, so that you can really feel that partnership between your breath and your heart. Just allowing your breath to slow everything down. To bring you into your heart, into your body, into this present moment. Beautiful. Just breathing those longer, deeper breaths, keeping those going as much as you can here. As we just take a moment to place our focus and attention on the beautiful pink light of compassion that's all around us. And just imagining how, as you breathe, that pink light is flowing into your heart. It's activating your heart, lighting up your heart. Beautiful. And we're going to continue to work with that pink light of compassion as we take a moment here to feel into the connection that exists within us between our hearts and the heart of Gaia, our beautiful Mother Earth. Just allowing each breath to expand you into a deep heart-to-heart connection with Gaia. That beautiful golden love light in the heart of Gaia. That the frequency of love, of wisdom, of healing and support that she holds for you. And just hold the intention to anchor yourself in here, heart to heart with Gaia. And as you do, just see, sense, or imagine that golden love light streaming into your heart, lighting up your heart. Beautiful. And we're going to take a moment from here to begin to place your focus and attention now on the connection within you between your heart and the heart of your higher self. Just allowing each breath to expand you within this connection, connecting you heart to heart with the highest aspect of you that you can access right now in this moment. And anchoring yourself in here, heart to heart with your higher self or your divine aspect. Beautiful. And taking a moment to connect heart to heart with Creator here. Just placing your focus and attention on that connection within you between your heart and the heart of Source, the heart of Creator. Allowing your breath to expand you within this connection as you come into a deep heart connection with pure Source light, pure creation energy. Beautiful. And holding the intention to anchor yourself in here, heart to heart with Creator, really anchoring into this, what I like to call Source love light. And as you do, just see, sense, or imagine that Source love light streaming into your heart, expanding your heart space. It's taking a moment as you sit in your heart to notice how all of this light in your heart has combined to create a beautiful iridescent rose gold light. Good. And noticing how, as you breathe, this light continues to expand from your heart to fill every cell of your body, all the space in between, flowing out from your physical body, filling your entire toroidal field so that you are in the center of a ball of light that's about 12 feet in diameter. Just taking a moment to notice all of this light within you and all around you. Taking a moment to notice how loved you are here in this space, how supported you are in this space. And as we move into the healing work here, just also holding that intention to stay really grounded, really anchored into all of this light and into these essential connections. And we're going to start with the allergy healing component here. So in divine love and light, run an energetic allergy healing for molds, Bringing in my whole molds allergy kit, fungus, mycotoxins. This is going to include the molds, fungus, and mycotoxins that are in your environment, that you're breathing in, that you are in contact with, and also the ones that may be in your body. Okay, good. I'm going to also bring in my yeast kit. So working with Candida here as one of those. Also clearing allergies to Candida die-off and waste products that are in the body. Okay, for Epstein Barr Virus, for herpes simplex 1 and 2, for varicella zoster virus, which is herpes 3, for cytomegalovirus, which is herpes 5. We're also bringing in herpes viruses 6, 7, and 8. And then bringing in tuberculinum species, with Tuberculinum bovinum, Burnetti, Avis, bringing those in. For Pneumococcinum bacteria, including Klebsiella pneumonia, Klebsiella oxytosa, and all Klebsiella species, and Streptococcus bacteria that are in my allergy kits. There's quite a few of those, bringing those in here to the allergy healing. Okay, so we're going to heal all these allergies. We're going to bring in the emotions, resentment, guilt, shame, unworthiness, anger, fear, stress, overwhelm, anxiety, grief, sorrow, sadness. And let's continue to work with those two high frequency emotions, feelings as well that we started working with yesterday. It's bringing in joy and love. Beautiful. I'm going to bring in some body kits here, my immune system kit, vascular system, cells, DNA, RNA, brain, the heart, my head kit, so ears, eyes, nose, mouth, throat, glands, organs. I'm going to bring in my spiritual kit, an allergy combinations kit, and another kit called environmental factors. Okay, healing all of these allergies and all relationships between all of these allergies and each of you now. Create or change it. Okay, good. And we're going to go bring in a little additional support here for these different pathogens that we're working with in the allergy healing to clean up distortion in our connection, our relationship with these different microorganisms with a relationship trauma healing tool that I've created. So I'm going to run this now. So in Divine Love and Light, run the relationship trauma release healing. For each of you with all of these bacteria and viruses. I don't need to name them again. We're just going to bring those right in here. So running that for each of you now. Create or change it. Okay, good. Beautiful. And just feeling into what else is optimal here, like to continue to tune into the energy of this community here that's gathered. Okay. Okay. All right. So 2 additional tools here in Divine Love and Light. Run the Breathe Easy healing and the Immune Support RX healing. Running these now. Create or change it. Okay, good. Beautiful. We're going to anchor this healing in. Important step in the healing work that we do to help us to process it with more ease and to really hold it until that processing is complete. So I'm going to run Sacred Light Close here. Divine Love and Light, create or change it. Good. And if you'd like to participate in that anchoring process for yourself, you can follow along with me here as we anchor all of this healing into your heart and high heart, mind and higher mind, anchoring it into your cells, your DNA, your RNA, anchoring it into your nervous system, anchoring it into your Earth Star chakra just below your feet, into the heart of Gaia, into your soul grid, and into wholeness and totality now. Beautiful. And we are complete for our day 2 healing. So let me know how you're doing. I always want to hear from you. You know, some of you have shared that you're understanding that you're needing to repeat some of the healing work that we've been doing together. This will be no different. You're definitely going to want to repeat it. Yeah, good. Giving you just another minute or so here to kind of wake up if that's needed. I know when we move into these healing processes, we get into that really deep, relaxed state. Sometimes we even fall asleep. It's also normal. For some people, that happens all the time. Yeah, so just trying to check out the chat box here. Yeah, good. Seeing some of your comments and shares, resonating with some of the stories that I've shared here about my own personal journey relating to that. I'm definitely seeing some questions here too. So let me start kind of looking at which ones to answer here first. Scanning the chat box. Okay, good. Let's see here. Yeah, Kimberly, really resonating with that kind of key place of being able to love yourself no matter what, to find forgiveness for yourself, for feelings towards things that bother you, and how that changes the game completely. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Lark, heal the allergies, save the world. Love it. Um, oh yeah, Paige. if I decide I no longer want to have, I think you meant, I can't tell what you meant there, have something and it goes away with no explanation, I did that within my own self. This is opening self-healing. Absolutely. We can do so much for ourselves. So much can unlock for us when we just have new awarenesses, new understandings of how to, work with our own energy. And this happens even more and more so, the more we open to healing, which really is opening to love. Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, yeah, relating to those core patterns of feeling unlovable or unworthy and not enough. Yeah, and Katrina asking what would cause issues in the lungs like lung cancer. Well, we're working on a lot of those already here in these master classes as we focus in on the respiratory system. Now, ultimately, what ends up creating a disease in any one person, even if it's, even if you're looking at, 10 people that have lung cancer, they're going to have some of the same emotions that were part of that creation. They're going to have some of the same pathogens that were part of that creation. They're going to have some of the same, belief systems and, traumas and, similar energies, but they're also there's always unique pieces that create disease in individuals. There's always unique pieces. So that's why we need tools that we can use to really help us to navigate and understand and identify those parts and pieces that are unique to each person that's creating disease. So we can do a lot here together in these masterclass moments where we're bringing through healing for the community that's here. But there's a lot that when we're looking at chronic issues, illness, health problems that we're really struggling to find answers for and to resolve, we need tools that help us find those pieces, and tools then that can also help us to quickly and effectively clear those for ourselves and other people too. Some of us are really here just to bring change to the world by working on ourselves. And some of us are here to, bring change to the world by first and foremost working on ourselves, but also feel called to work with others, do healing work in some form with clients and whatnot. So this modality meets you and on that journey, no matter, how you feel called to work with the tools. Let's see here. My daughter has a rare genetic skin disease, EPPK. Can pathogen hold genetic disease in place? And Karina, that's yes. That can definitely, pathogens can do that. The pathogens in our body also create code in our DNA as well. They activate genes in the body as well. So when we're working with pathogens with this modality, we are releasing kind of their hold that they have on their influence that they have on the changes that they can make, in our coding as well. And that's really important. And it's something that's a piece of it, piece of what's happening. Oh, yeah, there could definitely be allergies. Paige mentioning a sexual satisfaction allergy. That's an interesting one. You get sick every time. So absolutely there can be. So there's emotional components connected to that, sexuality or sexual experiences. that is creating that pattern. Yeah, definitely. So even as we clear, so to work with something like that, we, as practitioners, we tune into that issue, ask to be shown what allergies are creating that experience so that we can identify those and clear them. And what often will come up is pathogens in the allergy kits, along with emotions, or there could be environmental factors. Sometimes things like that are a direct allergy to a person, could be an allergy to your sexual partner, could be an allergy to different their sexual organs and things like that as well. So it's different for everyone, what the different allergies are that are creating an experience, a symptom. But pathogens are part of the story so often, it's pretty wild. And people allergies are actually part of what's creating disease and inflammation in the body so often. And that became really clear early on in my work as well. So that's also an interesting piece. Let's see here. Good questions. Yeah. So you guys are relating to that. There are issues around sex, sexuality, sexual connection. And these are things that we can actually change pretty quickly with these tools, doing allergy healing with these tools can change those types of experiences, really transform those. And I've also gone on to create additional tools, like some of the ones that I've mentioned here, and I've been actually working or bringing through for you to experience in our time together here, like the Immune Support RX healing, the Breathe Easy healing that I just ran, healing your relationship with nature too, that second audio gift, healing gift. And I've created tools to help us, kind of accelerate the healing that we need for issues like this as well. I have tools that clear sexual abuse trauma, for instance, emotional abuse trauma, mental abuse trauma, physical abuse trauma, religious abuse trauma, all kinds of additional tools to really help us clear out, work through those layers even more quickly to accelerate the healing that we're seeking. So let's see here. Oh, okay. All right, so let's see here. So Paige says your tools will continue to work till they are done. Is that correct? So what I find, and this is why I say to people to please repeat the healings. That's a good question, Paige. And what I find is that the tools will, when I just ran what I ran today, hold on one second. They will, oops, let me see here. So the healing that you're processing, you're integrating, just ran it. That's going to work through whatever layers and levels that it's going to. I don't ever know how, when that initial healing is kind of complete, if that makes sense. Complete being maybe not done getting through all the different layers and levels that it needs to work its way through. But kind of where it's reached its place of kind of job complete for that moment. Oftentimes we still need to repeat them and kind of set it in motion to work through that next layer, the next level that we're ready for. And And also I find that when we're working with pathogens, there's another kind of level to this work regarding pathogens. When we're working with pathogens, we're also, we're working directly with our immune intelligence. We're telling our immune system to focus in on specific pathogens in the body, to get in there and do its job, what it's designed to do. And with that, we seem to need to repeat the healings a little more often. So when I'm working with pathogens to help people get over infections faster, for instance, if you have a cold, flu, if a lot of pathogens have come up for a client in a session, my guidance is generally to listen to the healing twice a day, sometimes even 3 times a day, almost like taking a dose of vitamin C, right? So you keep that energy, kind of flowing and circulating through and on a constant way. And oftentimes with pathogens, especially if they are pathogens that have been in your body for a long time, I mean, some of these pathogens we're working with here, for some of you, have been in your body since the time you were born or in early childhood, right? So there's a lot of layers and levels to kind of work through to fully release those from our systems. And that takes time, we don't get to do that overnight. So just depending on kind of how deeply embedded the different patterns are that have magnetized the different pathogens and are holding them, tight, holding them in your body, is going to directly dictate how often you need to listen to the healings and, for how long. And I do find pretty often, again, pathogens, it's like, yeah, listen to this 2 times a day, maybe 3 times. So morning and night's really good. Maybe throwing in an afternoon one if these are issues for yourself. And then generally, it's at least a week for pathogen work for people to keep doing that. And then oftentimes from there, it'll still be to listen daily, but maybe it'll drop down to like once a day. I've even had, when I'm tuning in and working with clients, I've even had that guidance come through that they need to repeat it for 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, once in a while, even 6 weeks. I don't think it's ever really gone beyond that. Okay, but usually it does drop down to where it's not 2 or 3 times a day. Now it's once a day. Maybe it's just 2 or 3 times a week, but having that continuation of kind of directing and redirecting your immune system. I mean, our body has a lot of distractions. There's a lot to distract it, right? So when we're doing the healing, when we're working with pathogens, one of the things we're doing is kind of directing and redirecting our immune system, our immune intelligence to focus in. It's like, no, don't look over there. We want you to look right here, right? And keep looking right here until we resolve this problem. So that's one of the things we're doing when we repeat the healings, and something that's needed with pathogens. So if you have chronic fatigue, deal with brain fog all the time, swollen glands in your throat, generally drained, general malaise, just not feeling well. If that's you, I can promise you that what we're doing here is part of your story. It's something you all need. Okay. And if that's you, you're going to want to really take advantage of these tools and repeat them and let them go deeper. Okay. And continue to unwind, release, resolve all these different patterns that these, pathogens are associated with and connected into, and that's allowing them to kind of stay and cause problems for you, and inflammation in the body. All right, let's see here. Can an allergy cause you to start holding your breath? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that for a lot of people, shallow breathing is a problem, and that can be a lot of different things. And one of those is usually anxiety, that emotion of anxiety, stress, right? That kind of makes us tight, kind of locks us up. And we tend to be shallow breathers when we're feeling a lot of anxiety and stress and overwhelm in our lives. So those can be catalysts for that happening, where we start to get into a pattern of shallow breathing or even holding our breath. But also I found for myself, because that's actually part of my story too, and something that was really important for me was actually clearing allergies, not just to my lungs, but I was allergic to oxygen. And once we cleared that allergy, I had easier breath. I held my breath less and started to, shift out of that shallow breathing kind of pattern. So those are some considerations for that. There can be emotional allergies that are part of that, which, like anxiety, stress, overwhelm, those also become emotional allergies. But there can be other factors at play too. And we are working with some of those here for sure. Let's see here. Any other questions? I feel like sometimes I get lost in the chat. Okay, what if we have no allergies known, but no, I'm still dealing, moving through pain and anger. No, I gauge. I'm not sure. I think this is a word that is not right. Maybe mistyped. But I know I gouge through pain and anger, still not knowing what each is saying and when, how to better understand what the body is saying. Yeah, so a lot of people have said, wow, your modality sounds really cool. Too bad I don't have any allergies. And I've always found that to be a little bit amusing, but understandable though, because typically we don't understand allergies to be what I understand allergies to be. And that's why I take time and do master classes like this. That's one of the reasons, is to help people understand what they really are. And when we understand what they really are, then we understand that we all have them. We all have packages of resistance. We all have trapped and stored emotions. We all have unhealed trauma that we hold that's causing issues. We all have belief systems that are keeping us stuck and trapped in different ways in our life, keeping us limited, keeping us small. We all have these different energetic patterns, and those create physical symptoms in the body, headaches, back pain, shoulder pain, any type of pain that you're experiencing in the body, even something that's just a slight discomfort in the body, has, like if I were to tune into it and ask to be shown what allergies are creating that, I would be guided through my allergy kits on a little voyage of discovery of what those are. And when we clear those, the pain, the discomfort shifts and changes, and often it's really fast. So we all have allergies, but most of it is unconscious, right? We're not aware. And we're not aware of all those packets of resistance and what those are all comprised of. So it's mostly unconscious programming. So yeah, Lark is saying, I found that many times there's a part of myself that's protecting me from knowing the source of my pain. Yeah, I call that hiding from ourselves. So that's something that we all do also when we have something that's really painful. We don't want to look at it. And sometimes that's when we need to phone a friend. That's when we need, someone else to look at our energy and help us kind of identify where those wounds are so that we can bring healing to those. So that's one of the things that I love about teaching this modality to other people, and, having our community of practitioners. And, I really encourage them all to find practice partners, to practice your new skills, to work with the tools. And that way you also forge relationships where you have, these tools in the mix, and you can help each other with those parts that you're having trouble kind of locating the truth for yourself. Because really, one of the ways you can look at that is you're too emotionally close to the problem, right? Or as Lark said here, protecting myself from that source of pain, right? Since pain is a message, where chi is blocked, you don't have to immediately know the actual allergy to start working on clearing the blocks. I find I can clear what feels safe to clear, and that can open up for that next level of clearing. I love that you're sharing that too. I hadn't read your whole comment yet, Lark. Also, if you clear for something that you don't need, that still often clears something that supports the next layer of clearing. Does that make sense? Yeah, totally. So I love that you're bringing that awareness in. Two, yeah. Sometimes when you're tuning into an issue, just as Lark is sharing, we'll get a little bit more surface information, surface components of what's creating the pain in our body. But then as we clear that, as Lark is sharing, that can be what's needed to sort of take the lid off, so to speak, or help us to be able to look at and identify those harder to discover wounds. So I love that. That's another way that we work as well. Oh, Cindy, you're welcome. Barbara, you're welcome. Oh, you're so welcome. Tears, I start yawning and crying as soon as I connect. Does that mean something may be wrong with my connection and I have to clear those lines of communication? No, so this just says Northern. I don't know if that's your name, but just reading your comment here. And that is so common, so common. When we feel that emotion, to me, as we connect in and receive healing, yawning is a sign, we're releasing, we're clearing something. Not all of us yawn and sigh when we're clearing, but a lot of us do. But another one is tears. When we feel emotion that wells up and we have tears when we are healing something, that's another one of those confirmations or signs that we're getting something that we really need. Okay. And it's clearing a lot of things for us, because tears are also another form of release. Actual toxins are released in tears. A lot of our emotions are released in tears. Oh, Jill, I fell asleep and wake up throughout. Oh, during the healings. Yep, that happens a lot. Good. Seeing a lot of great comments, a lot of thank yous. You're so welcome. Sula's feeling sleepy, lost in space, tingles in hands and feet. April, beautiful and comforting. I saw myself waving goodbye to so much. I love that. Oh, Sue, when you're speaking earlier about allergies to emotions, that really resonated with me. Yeah, I believe it. And it's something that we all experience. Allergies to emotions, just most of us don't know. And I'm here to, shed light, bring information, right, to help you all navigate, right? Navigate on your healing journey, and find pathways of support for yourself. Okay. Good. So I felt like I was getting a tight hug around my body when we were doing the anchoring. Oh, I love that. Oh, you're welcome, Lena. Oh, Paige, you said it was Hep C. I kind of thought that's what you meant, but I didn't want to say it if it wasn't true. So good. Thank you for confirming or clearing that. Bethany, question about pesticides. My apartment just said they are coming into your apartment and you have respiratory issues. Yeah, so there is allergy healing work for pesticides in some of the healings that we've been doing here together. So I would say really repeat those, making sure you're getting those as much as you can now, and then continue after Friday as well when they come into your apartment. And just continue to give your body that support. And that should help a lot. Okay, Rachel, when you do the healing, I can see and feel lights in my aura and energy fields. Tonight, my cat came to sit in my lap to receive the healing too. I love that. Cynthia, can this work with gluten issues? Absolutely, it can work with gluten issues. So there is a difference between a gluten allergy and celiac. Okay, celiac is an autoimmune disease. It's an allergy to gluten too, but it's much more complex, right? We've been talking about complexities here. So anytime we're dealing with an autoimmune issue, there is a lot of layers. There's a lot of complexity and that we need to work through to get where we want to be with our health, but we can get there, okay? If it's a gluten allergy, those can be cleared up pretty easily for a lot of people, sometimes super quickly too, by clearing allergies to gluten, clearing allergies to wheat. For some people, it can take a little longer than others. If you have leaky gut, for instance, then our bodies can still be a little intolerant of gluten even after the allergy healing is done. Sometimes we can't, don't get to really reintroduce gluten into our diet until our bodies actually had time to regenerate new tissue and heal. We have most of our organs are brand new about every 3 months. The cells regenerate about every 3 months. So for some people, they see immediate shifts and transformations, able to eat foods they couldn't eat yesterday without a problem. Some people, that takes a little bit more time. It depends on how much healing the gut needs to do. Once the allergies are cleared and now the gut's able to do that. So those are key factors with clearing allergies to gluten. I do have, if it's still there, this is something that I've been looking at on my website, but I did have a free healing that you could experience that clears allergies to gluten, grains, and dairy. So check out my website for that. It's something that I did quite a while ago, and I was wanting to kind of check on that, make sure that's still there for you and working. But check out my website, KimberlyCarlson.com, Kimberly with an I-E, not a Y. That's how mom and dad decided to spell it. So you can check for that and see how you do with that, okay? I've helped so many people resolve those allergies. I don't even know how many that might be to date. It has to be hundreds. It could be thousands. I'm not sure, but I've helped so many people with that, with these tools, to be able to reintroduce foods that they couldn't eat, including gluten, okay? But there are little tricky components because gluten and dairy are both sort of inflammatory foods, meaning they create a certain amount of mucus when we digest them. So people with a lot of gut issues take a little more time to get there. Sometimes that's even not true though. Sometimes they heal really quickly and can reintroduce foods sooner than others too. So there's always these variations that happen from person to person and how they're healing, how fast they heal certain allergies and conditions. Oh, Irene, thank you. I appreciate your time. Yesterday's really opened up my runny nose. I see this as a healing process. Very good. Symptoms coming up. And remember how we talked about yesterday, those are directly connected with what is clearing. So just allow your body the time it needs to process and integrate what you're receiving here. And if the symptoms aren't subsiding, that's a repeat and a repeat. Go back to the healings and listen to them again. Okay, it keeps coming to me that I have a chronic sinus infection that's causing me to have. Okay. Started August 23rd. Now you've had it 6 times. Never had any similar issues prior. Well, and you're here. I feel like there's a lot here for you, and we're not done yet. We're going to continue to work on strengthening your immune system in our next couple of days together as well. So come on back. We're going to keep working at bringing you a high level of energetic healing and support. Oh, Paige, need all those abuse tools. Yeah. Yeah, we use those tools a lot to help shift so many things. Oh, Katrina, you're welcome. Good. Oh, yeah, Irene, child sexual abuse, trauma, and other. Yeah. Yeah. I have created quite a few tools along those lines to support us where we need it there. So many of us hold sexual abuse trauma. So many of us have experienced it ourselves on some level, some worse than others. And some of us haven't experienced that here in this lifetime, in this body, but have in other incarnations. And we're holding those cellular memories, or we're holding it ancestrally, or we're holding it collectively. We all have some of that that's imprinted, on our cells, on our energy. And healing work for those things brings a lot of benefits for us. So Donna says, can I be allergic to my husband? And how do I tell? You can be. If you know how to muscle test or use a pendulum, you can ask. But that does happen a lot. So, from time to time, I need to clear allergies for myself, for my partner. Sometimes I need to clear allergies to my own children, who we have amazing bonds and relationships, but relationships hold triggers. And even the ones that we love dearly, we can become allergic to from time to time. So one of the things that can be, if you don't use a pendulum or don't know how to muscle test, how do you feel, about your husband? Do you feel resistance? Do you feel like you want to push him away or bring him in? Okay, that's a way that that's an indicator that can indicate an allergy to a person. Okay, Mary, feeling very tired. We'll definitely repeat the Epstein Barr healing. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Oh, Bethany, issues with mold, smelling in your new apartment. Good. So these tools are perfect timing for so many of you. And also mold, fungus, mycotoxins, Candida are, just remembering that those are connected to those emotions of resentment, can be guilt, can tie in with anger, remorse, and regret. And as we're clearing these allergies, we're clearing, to mold and fungus. Just remember, we're actually clearing so much more than just, disharmony with a substance, right? We're clearing what's created that disharmony or that dissonance in our connection. And again, that's all those other patterns, the emotions, the belief systems, the trauma, and so on, that we're clearing. So much opens up for us when we do this work, beyond being able to be in our environment without having an overly active immune system or a reactive immune system. So my daughter, just for an example, my daughter, when she went to university and she was living in a house with friends near the campus, and those houses, they're old, the landlords don't really care, right? I'm sure the kids just abuse the heck out of them. But they were living in this house, and you can just smell the mold. It's old, you can see it in places. And she was having a lot of respiratory problems. She kept getting sick. She was getting sinus infections. She was super tired. She just didn't feel good at all. But moving out of that house at that time was not an option. So, I just dug in and do what I do and cleared allergies to the molds and the fungus in the house for her. Tied to that were some other emotional allergies for her as well. University is big changes for us as, becoming adults, and we're learning different nuances of how to connect with other people when we have, roommates and all these dynamics, right? But just focusing in on clearing allergies to those molds and some of the emotions that were coming up for her. And she switched right out of the problems she was having. She was able to finish out her school year healthy, with no issues, living in that same house. So we can teach our body, teach our immune system to remain calm, remain calm, stay, hold inner harmony, even in an environment that has, toxins, things that are, can create problems for the body. The key is creating harmony with all of these different things that are in our environment. And then our body can calm down and function. Okay. Lark, when you clear for gluten, do you also clear for glyphosates? Glyphosates, yes, I think I got that right. And other environmental pollutants that are sprayed on the crops. And that is a yes. And I have found in this work that that's actually a large part. So we talked about how nutrients, vitamins, minerals, proteins, salts, fats, sugars are often where people's allergies to foods start, and where maybe the bigger issues for their food allergies actually lie, kind of the roots to those. But Lark, you're hitting here on another point that is a big piece of this kind of food allergy problem for people. And that is allergies to the environmental pollutants that the crops are grown in, right? The polluted soil, polluted air, and then what they spray on the crops and all of that, and fertilizers and all of that. That is a big piece of the problem for people as well when it comes to allergies, including gluten allergies. Another issue that I have found that to be true also for nuts and seeds, coffee, chocolate, to name a few. And what I've also found is, especially with this awareness really came to me specifically with nuts and seeds, is that there's also different, fungi that are kind of natural to certain nuts and seeds. And that for some people, that's what they're actually reacting to. If they're really allergic to mold, they may not do very well with nuts and seeds. And that could be the main issue, is an allergy to molds and fungus. So yes, we're working with that. My kits that are clearing allergies to foods, that are clearing allergies to, vegetables, fruits, grains, and all that is sort of grown, that we're consuming. That element is there. We're clearing allergies to the different pollutants that are, on those different crops and end up in our foods and in our body, and then we're having trouble. So yes, we're working with that. And then I also have additional allergy kits that for people where you need to go a little deeper on that, where there's more complexity with that are really focused in on clearing specifically insecticides, pesticides, germicides, fungicides, pesticides, and all of that. So yes, including glyphosates. Barbara, I have Hashimoto's, no meds, took out of my life all of my allergies. Let's see, healed gut, menopause, but something is still off, and gained weight. Yeah. So you looked into this. Yeah. So we've been able to really help a lot of people with Hashimoto's. And other thyroid disease and dysfunction as well. And so many people have been able to reduce their thyroid medications and actually even come off them altogether because the thyroid heals so much when we do this work. So yes. Oh, Paige, after the healing yesterday, I began to cry. I haven't cried freely in 3 decades. Now the tears are just falling. Oh, I love that. You know, it's really, you're really opening, and a lot is clearing. You're releasing so much. That's really beautiful. Oh, Donna, push away with the husband. So there's a highly likelihood that there's an allergy there. Yeah, for sure. Okay, good. Let's see here. It looks like there's another couple more questions, and then we'll go ahead and jump off here today, and I'll meet you back here tomorrow at the same time, but with a different Zoom link. We're going to need a different Zoom link just to make sure we get everybody in, although we don't have as many people today as yesterday, but hopefully that wasn't because they were discouraged because they couldn't get into the meeting. Elena, should we be prioritizing which of the healing protocols depending on what we're working with? What I mean is that you're giving us different protocols for clearing every day, but I'm dealing with a very specific neuralgic issue that's been challenging and painful. Okay, so shall I just focus on the clearings you gave us today? Or can I do the first and the second daily and then the third and fourth? Right, so I am providing you quite a few healings here, and we're not done yet, right? We have 2 more days where we're going to be bringing through more healing. So what I tend to suggest in cases like this is to, since we're having a new healing daily, is just allowing yourself to receive what I'm bringing in that's new each day. And then, then you can come back to and repeat them. And you can do that a couple of different ways. You can start right at the beginning again, that first gift healing that you received, go to the second one that you received, then to the day 1 healing, the day 2 healing, the day 3 healing, the day 4 healing. And you can do, work through those that way a few times. And then you can start to, or if you're, using a pendulum or you do muscle testing, you can just use your intuition, really sit in your heart and just ask to be shown which of the healings are priority for you to be focusing on for repeating right now, and go with that. Okay, so those are kind of 2 ways that you can approach these healing audios, the healing components that we're doing together. And what I find is, and this will be true for some of you right off the bat, if you're newer to this work, probably this won't be true for you. But the more you do this work, the more you can do this work. Meaning you can start to layer the healings that we're doing, kind of playing one after another in a day, and get what you need from that and be able to process and integrate it. Okay, if you're newer to this work, if you have a lot of chronic health issues, a lot of inflammatory patterns, energy moves through your body a little slower, right? Then you may want to, then less can be more, focusing on one at a time, repeating that several times, moving to the next one, repeating that several times, and so on. Once you do that for a bit, you may start to notice that you can process more energy faster. That's because you're already reducing inflammation in the body, right? You're already opening those channels for that chi energy to flow, right? Being more in flow instead of stagnant. So just see where you're at. You're all in a different place as to how you process energy, and what's going to work best for you. So I invite you to just kind of take that guidance, those different ways you can approach this, and just see what works for you. But the important part is to repeat them, however the order, making sure you're getting to all of them and repeating them several times. Oh, Lena, I didn't finish my earlier question. How long do we have to listen to the replay, given that you're advising us to listen often and sometimes for many weeks? Yeah. So, I mean, if you have those of you that have had blood work done and show that you have active Epstein Barr in your body, you're one of those people that's going to benefit from, especially today's work and what we're going to do tomorrow, where we're really focusing in on Epstein Barr virus and some other viruses and pathogens. You're going to benefit from repeating those daily for a few weeks. There's no exact black and white thing I can tell you, or exact rule that I can tell you that's going to apply to all of you with these tools. It's just so unique for everyone. I hope that answers your question. Okay, Bethany. Yes, harmony, since I can't move this time. I did last time. Oh yeah, with the molds in the house. And yes, the emotions you spoke of, been working on clearing these. Thank you for confirming. Excellent. Lark, with nuts and seeds, I've noticed that the flavor is very different when they are really fresh. I am now careful in buying and storing them so they retain their freshness. And I go organic all I can. Well, me too. Me too, Lark. And the other thing that I learned about nuts is, I think growing up, nuts in our house, and then when I was an adult living on my own, nuts would go in the pantry. I know now to put nuts in the refrigerator, keep them fresh and and so that you don't, deal with molds and fungus that are native to the seeds and nuts that can start to flourish in your pantry. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Oh, Barbara, I think now you're saying this, mold is thinking about nuts, mold's a big trigger for me. Yeah, it's true for so many people. And I was born like that. I came into the world with those allergies. My mom had me getting allergy shots when I was 3 years old for molds and dust and my own body bacteria, actually, come to think of it, which was a really pioneering thought for allergists doing allergy shots back at that time, so many decades ago. So I was on those for several years when I was little, and still had a lot of problems. But hopefully those helped me to some degree. I don't know if they did or not, but I've been trying to filter out menopause with the other tools. Okay, so working on menopause symptoms. Good deal. Oh yeah, happy Halloween. Mary, you won't be with us tomorrow. Okay. All right. All right. Is there any questions that I missed? So kind of scanning the chat box here. Let's see here. Oh, how long do we have access to the replays? You don't need to worry about that, okay? Because when I come in and do these things, I don't take them away from you, okay? You have these, I don't take them down. So these are going on my YouTube channel. So we're live streamed this one on my YouTube channel. We're doing that right now. Yesterday, I forgot to do that, but I did upload the recording to YouTube, so it's there. And I'll be live streaming our next 2 days together there as well. So I don't take those down, and you'll have access to those as long as you need. Yeah. Or unless, I don't know, the internet goes down, or I don't know, but I'm not going to be taking them down. So those will be there for you. Okay. Sue, I listen to the talk while I'm doing housework. Good. Block off time for the healing so I can do it often. I'm retired. Yay. I love that. You can multitask while the healings are running. That energy is running for you, and you'll still receive it, even if you're not sitting in a meditation kind of state, breathing and, being quiet and really sitting with yourself as you receive the healing. There's benefits to that too, though. Right? There's benefits when we take time to sit and connect with our heart, get quiet, get still, deepen our breath, connect with compassion, right? Nurture our grounding connections. That also helps us to heal. It helps us to open to healing. It helps us also to navigate daily life and our environment. It activates our self-healing abilities. There's so much goodness in taking time to do that. But we don't need to do that every time. If we're going to try to repeat healing 2 and 3 times a day, and we're going to do it, for a couple of weeks or maybe longer, then it's better to, if you don't have the time to sit down and, get quiet and take that time, it's better to still, find that healing, hit play, do your, let it play while you're doing your laundry, washing your dishes, taking a shower, whatever it is, you will still receive that transmission, and you'll be able to, that's just as effective for receiving the healing. Okay. Good. Donna, where do you start? Well, if you mean here, then you just want to start by staying with me, coming for the lives, allowing yourself to receive what's coming through in each of the lives, and then coming back and starting to repeat the different healing components that we've done together. Okay. All right. Is there any questions that I missed? Maybe raise your hand or something. Oh, I just see someone was trying to join the meeting. But we've been together for almost 2.5 hours now. So it's about time to wrap up. I know a lot of you have gone about your day already and left the meeting. All right. Paige, OMG, just change it all for me. Love it. Animals. Yes, do you mean animal allergies to animals? Yeah, we can definitely. Oh, heal animals. Do you know there's actually at least a couple of energetic allergy healing practitioners that only work on animals, not people? That's their favorite thing. That's what they're called to do. So I love that. Okay, everybody. So much love to all of you. Thank you, Wind. Mwah. And I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to update the ad event link so those of you that signed in to put these classes on your calendar, and you have the Zoom link that's there. We're going to update that. It's going to have a new Zoom link. You don't need to worry about that. If you opted in for these events to get added to your calendar, it'll naturally give you the new link. We'll be doing that here relatively soon after we leave this meeting. And watch your email, because it will have a new link. If you didn't opt into that calendar and don't have the Zoom link on your calendar. Okay. All right. I know, Yasan, you did come in late, but that's okay. The replay is about to get sent out, and it's also live on my YouTube channel. So you can go ahead and dive in there and get into that. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, Paige, love you. You're so welcome. I'm so glad you found your way here and into this work. Okay, much love. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.